The idea behind the show is simply asking guests what they would tell a stranger on a plane if they were sitting next to them and the stranger asked them for advice.
The scenery is passing very fast, but the seer is constant. The one who's seeing is the same.
Well, let me appreciate you for asking a question that I haven't been asked after 2,500 or so interviews over the years.
Is you have to drop the ego, which is everyone's greatest obstacle.
In 2008, Grant and I had been married for 4 years. I was pregnant with my first child. The economy was collapsing, and we were on the verge of losing everything financially.
So great to have Anik here with us today. And Anik, where I wanted to start is I wanted to ask you, I'm going to jump in with a really big question right away. I know you spend a lot of your time online marketing, but I'm not going to go there and probably till the end. But I wanted to ask you about this big word we call legacy. And I know it's a really big word. And I also get to ask people about legacy, whether it's something they dictate themselves and decide based on what the actions they take, or if it's something that happens to them after they're gone or behind their back. I'd love to get your take on legacy. Like, which one of those does it mean to you, and what does legacy really mean to you?
That's a powerful word and a powerful time in my life to ask me this. You know, I think so many of us, when we're first starting our careers, let's face it, money is important. We got to pay the bills, we got to live, and for me, for the longest time, money was really important, right? I started into this for that. Now, before I ever started my business, I knew that my business needs to make me $500,000 a year or more because I was giving up the medical route. I was, giving up literally a done-for-you path that I had set in stone to become a doctor. Average doctor, you'll make $400,000 or $500,000 a year. I walked away from that to be an entrepreneur. So of course I was like, I better make more than at least $500,000 a year, otherwise I'll have regrets or I'll wonder if I should have done something different. So when I first started, first year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, so first few years was all about making income, right? Then I got to a point where, then I had a huge collapse in my business, so that's a whole nother story, and then it kind of got back to break even, like I had to pay debts back, then it went back to like, okay, make income. So then I get married, and now I have a family. Now I have a wife. I have someone who I'm responsible towards, right, in some ways, and in many ways. And so now all of a sudden, it's about saving. It's not just about income, but no more, 1 month random parties in Vegas. No more, randomly last minute picking up and going and traveling to some other country, which we used to do all the time, and I loved it, but now it was about being smart with money. So it became about generating and accumulating wealth. And I was in that mode for many years. And I think what happened is I never realized at some point I exited mentally that mode of wealth building. I had great income, I had great wealth, but I kind of kept there. And for the last few years, if I'm being very honest, it was a little, just boring. You just kind of felt you're on a treadmill. I love my business, I love life, everything was great. It just, you didn't get up. I was finding myself not getting up like, yeah, let's go crush it. I was just like, okay, let's do another day. What happens is right around the time that my wife told me she's pregnant with our first child, between that and actually having the baby, and she's now 5 months, we have a 5-month baby girl, I think that's when I realized, hey, what do I want for her? What do I want her to see when she sees daddy? What do I want to teach her? And that was when I realized, oh my God, that's what's missing. I really have a deep desire to reach to the masses now. It's not about money. It's not about wealth. I just want to talk to people. I just want to help people. I just want to support people. I've built so many layers of infrastructure in my company. I'm so far away from the student. I'm not talking to them anymore. And that is to me legacy. I think legacy only when you're dead is sad. I think that's tragic. I think legacy should be there when you're alive. I think when you can see the results of your legacy that you're building. I'm 39 years old, and I think I'm super blessed to know that 39 was the age at which I literally decided my focus is shifting completely to legacy. Even if that means my wealth takes a dent, I really don't care. Because Corey, the truth is, if you wired me an extra $30 million tomorrow into my bank account, I would be here with you, I'd be wearing the same clothes, I'd be in the same room, I would have driven the same car here, and I would have gone home to the same house. My life doesn't change. but I can take this time with you to maybe there's one person, 2 people, 3 people that are listening to this video that have an aha moment. I just impacted. That's my legacy. That's my legacy is when I say, I want to build an army of those who I've impacted in the world, who then go off and impact more people. 99% of those who get impacted would never even know the impact that little ripple began with me. So I don't need public legacy. I just need to know the day I die that, hey, this world is fundamentally different for the better because I existed in it. And I'm becoming obsessed with that, by the way. And if anyone's like, he's BSing, go look at my social media. Exactly the same month my daughter was born, I started going crazy on social media. And it's all free stuff. It's just because I want my voice out to more people.
I literally just saw, I believe it was yesterday, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe I saw yesterday a post, or maybe I just saw it yesterday, but a post from the last couple of days that you're doing a free masterclass. Did I get to see that correctly? Yeah. And a whole bunch of speakers involved, and I think I just saw that, like, just post. I mean, just yesterday.
We're having a free. So here, I built a facility here called we call it the Learn Center. It's 26,000 square foot. Cost me about $3.6 million. And it cost me about 60 to 70 grand a month to run it. And the thing is, it's here. And I wish someone gave me the COVID memo before I built it, but whatever. It's here now, right? We have a facility, and look, I've sold, in the last 3 years, I've sold $64.8 million worth of information products. It's a pretty big number. And so I've learned a lot more than just the newbie stuff. I've learned a lot about how to build a team, how to do traffic buying, how to build funnels, how to have back ends, how to track your LTV, how to improve your relationship with your customers, how to build KPI systems for your team. I never get to talk about any of this stuff, but I know that there's a lot of entrepreneurs who need that. So you know what? We can take 120 people in our lecture hall, and it's probably going to cost me 70 to 100 grand to run the event. That's why I told you, legacy, even if that means it impacts my wealth a little bit. But here's the truth, Corey. Here's what I've learned over the last 20 years of being in business. There has never been one time this has not been true. Every time I give, I get back more. Every single time. So I promise you, if I invest $100,000 putting on this free mastermind for 120 millionaires who are going to walk into the room, by the way, there are 120, most of them are millionaires. We can come back and check this again a year from now, and we can do another interview. I spent 100 grand. I will be damn shocked if I don't make back $1 million or $2 million. And I don't even have a plan of how I'm going to make that back. But it's just what's going to happen. So I'm doing a lot now, and it's all about outreach, connection, meeting people. You know, we just started a mastermind where we have 16 people join, and I stopped it. Literally no one else can join for now. Why? I'm having one-on-one conversations. Right after I finish this interview with you, I have a one-on-one call with them. I just want to, because that's a human, that's an actual person. I want to get to know them. And what I told them is, before our mastermind officially begins in November, I want to have already made a major impact in your life. That's kind of going to be my next, track, the thing I track. It's going to be names. I want how many people are whose lives have fundamentally changed because I existed in it. And I'm becoming really obsessed about it, to be honest with you. I have to figure out a way to track it, but I want a whole wall with their names and pictures. And it's so fun. And I'm getting back up in the morning now, all right, let's go get at least 2 people, to add to that list. All of a sudden, it's not about the money. It's about the impact on people.
Wow. And so I'll tell you, one of the things that I've been obsessed with is this question that I've started to ask people recently, which is kind of the core central question for this show, which is this idea that if you were sitting next to a passenger on a plane, Anik, stranger on a plane, and they leaned over and said, hey, I'm just starting my journey. What advice do you have? I'll say it this way. What advice do you got for me? And of course, you can pick. It could be business. It could be building a business. It could be personal advice. Especially this time in your life when you're really focused on legacy, what do you think you might tell that stranger on a plane?
Oh, man, that's a really good question. And I think my answer to it changes quite often, but I think I finally found the answer because what's one thing that has helped me during the good days, during the bad days, during any time in my life, anytime I've needed something, I need an answer, a solution, a connection. It's one thing. It's my network. It's the people I'm around. So the person who's just starting their career or just starting a business, here's what I would tell them. Everyone's in a rush to go make money. I'm going to tell you to put it off. Give me 6 months or a year. I challenge you. Do the following. make connections. Become friends with the people in that industry that know the other people. Become friends with the influencers by serving them, helping them, being present. And put off making money by just a little bit, but build that initial network and always be building. See, that's another issue, is I got so satisfied with my network about 4 or 5 years ago, I stopped building it. Another big reason I'm doing this mastermind, Corey, 70% of the people coming to this mastermind, I don't know. So I'm going to get a chance to add 70 to 80 people to my network in one go for $100,000 investment. So I'm adding a millionaire to my network, an intimate connection for about $1,000 a head, anytime, right? So the advice that I would give to someone is make a list of 20 or 30 people that have a lot of influence, knowledge, and reach in your industry, and become good friends with at least a third of them. Take 6 months to do that. The rest was going to take care of itself, and always be building that, because during my toughest times and during my best times, it's been the people, man. I mean, before we started, we were talking about John Tallarico, who you had interviewed before. I have some of the best stories of my life with him. Literally stories that I will sit down with my daughter and tell with him. He has helped me during my toughest times. I've been able to help him during his, but also during my best wins, he's always been the first person sitting in the front row cheering me on. That is worth more than any money you'll ever make. And so those types of relationships, that's what it comes down to.
Amazing. So my last question, I'll call it the unofficial one, because I want to ask you officially how people can learn more. But the unofficial one, I'm going to ask you this question that I've asked even more times than this new passenger question, which is, and you'll know when I say this probably what the question is, but I call it the time machine question. And so essentially it's, if you could jump into a time machine, go back and talk to a younger Anik, give him some life advice based on what you've learned in the years since. And I know it's similar to the other question, but the difference is this time it's for you versus a stranger. What do you think you might tell a younger Anik?
I have two. I have to give you two, because there's a professional and a personal one. Professionally, okay, this hurts, it burns, because I understand how money works now, and I cannot tell you how many hundreds of millions I've blown. Hundreds of millions, because $3 million saved 10, 15 years ago, by the time I die, it would probably be worth about $100 million if invested the way that I've been investing. So the biggest advice I'll give you when you're young and you get that money and it's coming in your pocket and you love it and you can buy the fancy cars and fly first class and all that. By the way, I didn't even live that lavishly. I just used to invest in my business a little bit ruthlessly, or a little bit unwisely. Buy accumulating assets. Don't keep cash on you. Be poor cash-wise. Go buy properties. Go buy things that appreciate in value and provide you cash flow. If I had done that for the last 20 years, I just started doing it 4 years ago. Corey, if I had done that for the last 20 years, I'd be making multiple seven figures a year passively by now, and I would have assets that are worth tens and tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. And so I know it sounds like, but if you can save even $1,000 a month, man, you save up, you buy a house, you buy a property. So professionally, invest, invest, invest. Be cash poor, invest your money. Personally, nothing above health. I destroyed my health over the last two decades. And now what's happening is I'm going to get it back. I'm fixing it. Thank God I have a lot of money, so I'm investing that now in the best advice and best doctors. But stress, lack of sleep, all these things, they'll catch up to you by the time you turn 40 or 50. And you're going to have to work really hard to recoup that. So I wish I gave my health a little bit more, because I already had a medical condition. So for me, it was like 10 times more important. And so if I could go back to a younger me, I'd say invest your money more, be wiser with how you invest it, even if it's in your business, be smarter. And man, take care of yourself. Go to the gym, eat well, sleep well, and take care of your health. Health is wealth. It really, you don't realize how important, how much meaning that sentence has until you're older.
So I said the last official question then, Anik, is simply, how can people learn more? So whether I don't know if that mastermind's full, so whether they want to learn more about that, whether they want to work with you one-on-one, whether they want to work with you one-to-many, is there a place that you send people normally?
Sure. Yeah. So the mastermind is definitely limited to anyone who's already doing $500,000 a year or more in information marketing, coaching, consulting, courses. But that's at expertsummit.com, expertsummit.com. It's happening October 21st to 24th. We're about 60% booked up already, so go check it out. It's free, so you can put your application in if you qualify. But if you want to learn about all of the different ways to work with me, like our mastermind, and we have an amazing community now that we're building for those who want to learn information marketing, go to learn, L-U-R-N, spelled wrong on purpose, L-U-R-N, expert.com. So learnexpert.com, there will be an opt-in page. You pop in your name, your email, you'll be on our list, and that's kind of the entryway into all of the various. And then, of course, find me on any of the social media platforms. I'm pumping out at least one short video every day, and some of them are really fun to watch. So you'll learn some stuff from me from there too.
Amazing. Well, Anik, this has been an absolute pleasure. I knew it would be. I'm so glad that I got to deliver the message from you. This is secret code from John. I won't say what the message was earlier off air. But Anik, this has been an absolute pleasure. I love the work that you do. I've been following you for a while, and I'm so glad we had a chance to talk with you today. And I'm so glad we had a chance to talk with you when you're so focused around this idea of legacy. So, Anik, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.